team played against Milan, unsurprisingly given the scoreline. Another one of Ancelotti's old teams, of course. They were 3-0 down by half-time. So a bit of extra motivation maybe for them. Kante's done well to win the ball back for Chelsea. He's found Batshuayi just over halfway. Has support from Willian. Plays it out to the right, looking for Willian. Clipped off the heels of Hummels. It's come back the Brazilian's way. He's been crowded out somewhat, though he's managed to offload it to Victor Moses. Moses level with the edge of the penalty area here. Short ball back to Willian. Back heel from him to Fabregas. Decent bit of possession for Chelsea in the opening minute.
Yes, Batshuayi looked sharp there. Movement was good, his awareness was good, and Chelsea knocking the ball around well.
And Moses with a chance to cross here. He's inside the penalty area. Maybe he'll try and make room for a shot, being closed down by two defenders. He's hung on to it for now. Cross was deflected back out to Azpilicueta, edge of the box, and he in turn goes all the way back to halfway, and Andreas Christensen. Well, the likes of Christensen and Boga and others too will be looking at Victor Moses and what he did in pre-season last year, which of course led to him being one of the key players for Chelsea throughout the campaign last time around. So it just goes to show that you can impress in pre-season.
I'm glad you mentioned that. I thought that against Arsenal. I thought there's an opportunity, and Batshuayi, two brilliant finishes with his left, two very different finishes, and he will be thinking like that. Listen, we know Morata has come in, and we know that he expects to be that number 9, the starter, but you don't know how he's going to adjust and how he's going to settle. And Batshuayi's goals to games ratio and minutes on the pitch is pretty impressive, and the opportunity presents itself. It's about taking it, and you're absolutely right to mention Victor Moses last season.
Of course, the other factor is that Chelsea will have European football this time around, so they are going to have to draw on a wider pool of players than they did last season, when Antonio Conte was able to name the same team for 6 games in a row at one point. He's just stopped briefly here because of a foul by Fabregas on Renato Sanchez on halfway.
He wins the ball and gets a little bit of stud on his knee, and we know in the modern game now that's simply not allowed. No, cannot get away with challenging for the ball.
2.5 minutes gone in Singapore. Goalless, ball goes out of play for a Chelsea throw, about halfway inside the Blues half. Victor Moses is going to take it right-hand side, down for Azpilicueta. Had the distinction of playing every minute in every game for Chelsea last season. Cesar Azpilicueta, brilliant campaign it was too for him. Here's Rafinha, the Brazilian fullback for Bayern, crossing halfway, chipping it over the head of Boga. Bayern looking to just establish a foothold in the game. Spread out wide to the left-hand side, and a chance for a cross into the penalty area, which was not a particularly good one from Marco Friedl, who's an academy product of Bayern Munich. He's only 19 years old. He hasn't made his competitive debut yet. He's played it out to Ribery, 34 now. Franck Ribery, what a career he's had. And then all the way back to halfway. And Mats Hummels once more. This is Renato Sanchez now. Short pass from him infield to Rafinha. Can cross into the penalty area here, looking for Muller. Too close to Thibaut Courtois, who gets his gloves dirtied for the first time. Willian looking to get Chelsea moving away, but Hummels stops him in his tracks with a high-quality defender, Mats Hummels. Sanchez then moving it back to Rafinha. Big game this for Renato Sanchez as well. Big season coming up. Very disappointing first campaign after joining from Benfica. You might have seen him play against the Chelsea under-21s, as was a couple of years ago. He was absolutely brilliant in that game.
Yeah, a number of teams were looking at him last year. I think it was linked Real Madrid as well. Bayern splashed out. Huge fee for him. No question he has a bright future.
Ribery just brought to ground by Azpilicueta, so Bayern have a free kick. Worth noting, by the way, the pitch is not in good condition at all. It's cutting up very easily here. It'll be interesting to see what the two coaches have to say about that post-game.
Just looking at Christensen there, Matt, there's 2 headers he's won. Positional sense good. He's in the middle between Gary and Dave, and just watching him now, it's all about position. John Terry was the best at that, but he's a magnet at the moment. 2 balls are coming to the box, and both of them been cleared by his head.
Well, he of course knows all about Bayern Munich. Andreas Christensen, he's played against them for the last couple of seasons during his very fruitful loan at Mönchengladbach. He's now a seasoned performer in the top European league and in European competition as well. I would expect him to feature, maybe not prominently, but certainly semi-regularly once the new campaign gets underway. Goalless here in Singapore. 5 minutes played between Chelsea and Bayern Munich. Antonio Conte stood right on the edge of his technical area as ever, slightly calmer than normal, as Rafinha comes forward and goes for goal from 25 yards and fires one into the bottom corner to give Bayern Munich the lead. Well, it looked like a hopeful shot really from distance, but it crept low beyond Courtois' dive. And it's Chelsea 0, Bayern Munich 1.
Well, from his point of view, it's a good strike from distance. He shouldn't score from there. It's not the best shot you'll ever see. Just looking at Boga, there was a cross that came in a couple of minutes ago that perhaps could have done a little better. I'm looking now, he's got dragged over, he's central, and then all of a sudden you look at N'Golo Kante, he's got to be dragged out of position. Just wonder whether Boga's position there didn't really help the midfield. He's got dragged out, and that space that Rafinha has just wandered into, completely unmarked. There was a chasm of space, and N'Golo Kante's come across because he's trying to cover that distance. Having said that, the shot, I think Courtois will be a little disappointed that has found the back of the net. In terms of the distances and his angles, I think he should do better. I think he'll be a little bit disappointed.
Rafinha, far from a regular goal scorer, certainly enjoyed celebrating that one. So Chelsea are going to have to come from behind here. I wonder if it just caught a bobble on the pitch as it was making its way toward Courtois. It wasn't a particularly firmly struck shot.
But it's one of those, Matt, that you often see goalkeepers dive and get their distances right, and they often leave it, and it almost felt a little bit like that.
Here's Renato Sanchez, 35 yards from goal, middle of the pitch, flicking it back out to the goal scorer Rafinha. Then there's a touch for James Rodriguez, one of his first. He's on a 2-year loan from Real Madrid with an option to buy at the end of that term. A Colombian who lit up the World Cup a couple of years ago. There's Ribery down the left as far as Bayern are concerned, tried to play it to Lewandowski, but only found Victor Moses. Courtois with a first-time clearance gets the ball up to halfway, and Willian bounced off his chest, but he managed to recover it anyway. It's been Equator now. Running it across to the now permanent Chelsea captain Gary Cahill. Boga looking to make something happen in the centre circles. Ball to ground, free kick.
Good ball from Gary Cahill, first time. It's really, they're not easy, those ones that bobble into you, but he's played a firm side foot pass into Boga. Boga's first touch was excellent. Gets away, and then the challenge comes in. It is a foul. No harm done. It's on the halfway line. Chelsea play the ball back and start again.
Here's Christensen. Spreading it out to Azpilicueta, quickly closed down by Ribery, so he offloaded it to Kante on halfway, forward to Willian from him, back with Kante once more, now Batshuayi back to goal. Willian looking to roll it into the feet of Boga, who tried to dab it off first time for Batshuayi to take a shot, just didn't get enough weight on the pass, and Bayern were able to intercept. Rafinha looking to get round Alonso, managed to do so.
Crisp passing from Chelsea, 1 and 2 touch, excellent going forward. Bayern, I have to say they're the same at the moment. It's passing movement of both sides in the final third has been pretty impressive.
He's freed up for Bayern Munich, all the way back to halfway. Ball chipped over towards that Javi Martinez. He just managed to keep it away from Boga, and now there's a chance for Rafinha to run infield again. This time he looked for Lewandowski, edge of the box, and he was tackled before he could get to the ball, which Alonso clears up to Boga. Nice open field to the opening 9 minutes here. Boga drifting in from his left wing position, playing it infield to Batshuayi, again holding up well back to goal. Flipped out then from Fabregas, right side looking for Moses. Header keeps it away from him, and then Azpilicueta turns it infield, trying to find Kante, but nicked off his toe by Tolisso.
Rafinha's a bit of a problem at the moment. He's walking into areas, as he's doing again now, just on that their right, our left. That's where the goal came from, and he's having a little bit too much joy in space.
And here he is on the ball again, over on that far side, halfway inside Chelsea's half. Back to Renato Sanchez it goes. Now a touch for Hummels, returning to the club where he started his career last year after 8 years at Dortmund. Ribery twisting and turning, bit of sand just kicking up from the pitch as he does so, and Moses runs it off freely. It goes out to play for a Chelsea throw in their right back position.
Good defending there between Moses and Azpilicueta. Good talking. You could see Azpilicueta was telling Moses to go with the runner out wide so that they didn't cross over. Azpilicueta got dragged out into a position, and between the pair of them they solved the problem. Again, good crisp passing. Batshuayi's involved, ball into his feet, his first touch is good. Chelsea moving the ball well and going forward.
Marcos Alonso has it far side, comes back in field to Fabregas, 10 yards inside opposition territory. It's going to be hard work for these players out there tonight. It's 30 degrees pitch side, Very, very humid and sticky as well. And trying a little flick which didn't quite come off. Hummels able to get it clear. Then Sanchez forward, and then a lovely ball played into the path of Lewandowski up against Christensen here, edge of the penalty area, cutting infield, looking to take a shot, taken off his toe right at the last by Azpilicueta just as he was about to pull the trigger.
Yeah, again Bayern Munich moving that ball crisply, cutting through Chelsea's midfield. Christensen had to come out, Lewandowski there. You can see what he's doing. He's on the left-hand side of the box, tries to create that little bit of space where he can work it on his right, and was looking to bend the ball, no doubt, past Thibaut Courtois, but Azpilicueta managed to get himself back. Very open game.
Here's Muller, Bayern leading by a goal to nil, and on the attack again, Ribery now, edge of the penalty area, working his way into the box, looking for space for a shot, gets to the byline, chips it back up, and it's 2-0, and it's Thomas Muller just inside the 6-yard box, able to volley in, and Chelsea, well, in all sorts of trouble in this match now. They trail by 2, Muller's doubled Bayern's advantage.
Well, this is all about Frank Ribery. Gets a 1v1 situation, looks like he was going to shape up, and as I mentioned a second ago about what Lewandowski was trying to do, it's Azpilicueta, is it, that he's managed to get past. Azpilicueta, I think, is the best 1v1 defender in the country. But Robert Lewandowski is found at that far post by him. It's a lovely little cross. And they look good going forward, Bayern. We look a little shaky at the back. 2 goals conceded in the first 12 minutes. Something needs to be sorted out there. That's I know we spoke earlier, Matt, about pre-season and what it's all about. But you don't want to be turned over. And at the moment, Chelsea need to get their act together. 2-0, 12 minutes.
Thomas Muller only managed 5 league goals last season. He got double figures in the previous 4 campaigns before then. Let's see who's got Bayern's second goal here.
He's just that far post, isn't he, Miller? Frank Ribery it's one of those balls that if you miss the goalkeeper out and Courtois has been dragged out, if you miss the keeper and dink it up, you've got a chance. And Muller was there to pounce. Chelsea have looked good going forward. You know, it's not like that we haven't, but so have Bayern.
Is there any change to the game plan in a pre-season match, or is that not really part of the thinking?
Yes, I think there has to be, tactically players. We what if we find ourselves? It's not often it's happened under Antonio Conte that you find yourself 2-0 down in the first quarter of the match. He won't want to lose this, but primarily the most important thing is fitness, momentum, and moment. That momentum is certainly with Bayern, and they're having way too much space and time and knocking the ball around going forward.
On it again with Renato Sanchez on halfway. As you said, Jason, Chelsea looking in pretty good nick up front, but they've got to be able to get the ball to threaten the Bayern goal, and at the moment it's the German champions who are dominating the English champions. Chelsea strolled to the title, by the way. Bayern 15 points clear of their nearest challengers, who are RB Leipzig, their 5th consecutive league title. And they're looking menacing again here with Lewandowski, but well won back by Kante. Played it forward to Boga, and Boga gave it away straight to Hummels.
A bit scrappy, isn't it, at the back? Very scrappy. Boga's got to get hold of that. He's done well in N'Golo Kante, given away by Azpilicueta, and we managed to win the ball back, and N'Golo Kante plays a little 1-2 into Boga. And Boga's giving that ball away, and as soon as it gets a side like Bayern, you don't want to be doing that too many times.
Just the one alteration in terms of the defence with Christensen coming in, but I guess as he's the middle of the back 3, it's the most crucial position, so it will be the most disruptive, rather than if they change the right or left-sided centre-back.
Possibly. I'm not looking at Christensen thinking the reason we're 2-0 down is. I think that there have been 1 or 2. They've punished us. Let's get that absolutely right. They've had 2 chances and they've scored 2 goals. They look good going forward. But the middle of the park, I mentioned Rafinha on that right-hand side, having a bit too much time and space. That's an area that perhaps Conte will be looking to tighten up.
Fabregas with the ball through to Kante, middle of the pitch, halfway inside Bayern's half. Boga then flicked it straight against the defender, and Ribery can bring it forward once more for Bayern. Managed to get over halfway, but then he was stopped in his tracks by Cesc Fabregas. A little wry smile from Ribery to Fabregas as the Chelsea man helps the Frenchman up to his feet. Bayern free kick. 2-0 they lead.
Yeah, ball bouncing off Boga again. It's happened a couple of times from the young boy. He's got a stick.
This game under the banner of the International Champions Cup. Chelsea have participated in it for the last few years. It's going on in America, China and Singapore this year. 15 teams competing. Cahill managing to intercept a pass into the penalty area which was intended for Thomas Muller. Cleared away by Marcos Alonso up to halfway. Batshuayi looking to put some pressure on Javi Martinez, but he's able to see it all the way back to his goalkeeper.
Yeah, at the moment things are very comfortable for Bayern. Christmas of pass, movement. This doesn't look like a side that suffered a heavy defeat in the last pre-season game, and defensively we don't look like a side that kept a clean sheet against Arsenal.
Bayern played Arsenal 2 last week. It's a 1-1 draw, and then Arsenal won the penalty shootout, as is the way in this competition. If it's a draw at 90 minutes, we will have a shootout to decide the winner. Ball back with Starker now, the goalkeeper, veteran keeper. Manuel Neuer has been out since April and he hasn't flown to the Far East, fracturing his foot. Ian Robin, Jerome Boateng also back at home, as is Juan Bernat, the defender who got injured in the game on Saturday and has gone back to Germany to receive treatment. There's Renato Sanchez for Bayern Munich, leading by 2-0 on 6 and 12 from Rafinha and Muller respectively. This is one of their new signings, Tolisso on the ball. Midfielder came in from Lyon over the summer. Now Muller, right side level with the edge of the penalty area, looking to cross it. He's played it out to the edge of the box and Marco Friedl couldn't quite control it. Wasn't the best pass. Was he going to be able to keep it in play? Not quite. Out for a Chelsea throw, just by the corner flag on the near side of the road.
They couldn't quite keep it in. It was like trying to control a balloon there.
This pitch really does look like it's going to make passing difficult. Bobbling every time they play it over the surface, and it seems to cut up every time some studs come into contact with it. Here's Fabregas, showed too much of it to Renato Sanchez, given away to Lewandowski, edge of the box, back to goal, offloaded from him to Ribery. His ball over to the far side, chance for a third goal here for Bayern Munich, and really it ought to have been the shot in the end from James Rodriguez was lifted over Courtois' bar, only about 8 yards out. Not a great angle, but a player of his quality would have hoped to at least drawn a save from the goalkeeper.
They look sharp, don't they? They do look fitter, I have to say. Closing down there, Sanchez is the one that dispossessed Cesc Fabregas, and it's not often Cesc gets caught in possession in those areas, but just a bit sharper there.
This is their 7th game of pre-season versus Chelsea's 2nd. 3rd if you count the match at Cobham, which a lot of these players played in against Fulham the other week. Here's Ribery, he's just outside his own penalty area at the moment. He's pulling the strings for Bayern Munich in this game. We've had 19 minutes of it. Bayern leading by 2-0. There's Rafinha, scorer of the first, going back to his goalkeeper Starker after Javi Martinez let the ball run through. Starker under pressure from Batshuayi, had to release it to Hummels in the left-back position. First time clearance from him up toward Lewandowski, who's fouled by Christensen. Not sure there was that much in that, but the referee is much closer than we are.
It's one of those you always seem to give. The referees give a free kick to the centre forward, it bounces off him, he goes to the ground, and Christensen's tight.
There's Hummels. Swept it forward to nobody in particular. That will allow Victor Moses to come and collect. Both these sides will be in pot 1 when the draw for the Champions League group stage is made on the 24th of next month. The competition kicks off in terms of the group stage, the 12th and 13th of September. Kante playing the ball straight against Rodriguez, but then it bounced up into the air for Marcos Alonso. He's gone back to Gary Cahill. Chelsea would like to just keep hold of the ball for a couple of minutes. Very tiring in this heat and humidity chasing it. And he got it back from Christensen, and he rolls it forward into the feet of Batshuayi, back to goal inside the centre circle. Does really well to keep away from a couple of challenges, couldn't find Fabregas. Eventually Hummels moves it right side to Rafinha.
He did do well, Batshuayi, but final pass Wasn't to a blue shirt. His first touch was excellent, under pressure.
Rafinha being closed down by Boga. It's come for Renato Sanchez now. Alonso not giving him a moment's peace, so he has to go all the way back to Javi Martinez. Rolled across from him to Hummels. Unable to play this game at their own pace at the moment.
Very comfortable for them, isn't it? They're moving the ball through the middle of the park now at ease.
He's moved it right side to Rafinha up against Alonso, so he came back infield. Here's Muller again, about 25 yards from goal. The point of the penalty area over on the far side. Renato Sanchez then forward for James Rodriguez. Everybody bar Batshuayi back behind the ball from a Chelsea perspective. Here's Ribery, level with the edge of the penalty area near side. Taken off him by Azpilicueta. Azpilicueta able to clear it, but Bayern quickly win it back.
Yeah, that's been a feature of their game, isn't it? High pressing, closing Chelsea down, not allowing Chelsea to settle or build any momentum in the last 15 minutes. And now Batshuayi gives it away. That momentum that we spoke earlier when Chelsea, actually I thought started the game really brightly, going through midfield up into Batshuayi. The movement looked good. Bayern have stopped that. They've had the lion's share of possession. And their movement and those, we often talk about triangles in matches. You have a look at Bayern, there's always 2 to 3 players on for every time they get the ball. Movement's good. They just look a little bit fitter, a little bit sharper at the moment.
Point of the first half, Bayern leading by 2-0. Here comes Tolisso again, moves it right side for Muller, crossing into the penalty area, looking for Rodriguez, headed away by Christensen as far as Ribery edge of the box. Give and go, sees Ribery almost get in position to cross again, but great defending from Azpilicueta, managed to take it off him.
Comes again
to Renato Sanchez, edge of the penalty area. Now James Rodriguez again, floats one in this time, header away from Alonso just about. Kept it away from Muller, and it'll go out of play for a throw into Bayern.
At the moment, Fabregas is just kind of struggling to get involved in this game the way that he does. He's getting bypassed, passes are going beyond him, players are running beyond him. It's we often talk about Fabregas and the qualities he's got, and he has many of them, but at the moment just slightly getting overrun in the middle of the park. I'd like to see our back three perhaps be a little bit closer to Fabregas and N'Golo Kante. There's space in which they're dropping in James Rodriguez and Lewandowski. The movement is good. There's always someone on, and there's that space there. That's the space where it's been played in. This time he does well, Fabregas, but the gaps between Christensen, Gary and Dave, in between the 2 midfielders, it's too big, and they're dropping in at ease. So either one or 2 things happens. Either we get our back 3 get closer and squeeze, or you get one of the midfield 2 to have a look over their shoulder and drop into that space. But it's we're just struggling a little bit at the minute.
It's going to be really fascinating to see when Chelsea face big hitters like Bayern in the Champions League, whether it is going to be Fabregas and Kante or Kante and Bakayoko. You'd assume it's Kante +1.
This is the sort of game that if this was a Champions League game, Bakayoko would...
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah, this is, yes. But it's about fitness, and you have to come up with an answer, can we?
Fabregas into Willian, just over halfway, middle of the pitch here. Batshuayi and Boga ahead of him, allowed to carry it forward and play a 1-2 with Boga. Willian edge of the box now is going to go for goal. He dragged his shot a long way wide, but in the 25th minute of the first half, that's the first serious attempt at goal that Chelsea have managed. Willian on target against Arsenal on Saturday, looking to make it 2-2.
It's a really good piece of build-up. Willian looking sharp, plays it into Jeremy Boga, plays the little 1-2, but it just doesn't quite connect. He scuffs his shot, and it goes wide, and the keeper really knows it's, as soon as it's left his foot, is drifting wide. Chelsea playing high press now. They've played the ball at the back Bayern, and they're forced to go long, which Lewandowski is a big, powerful front man, and who wins the header is judged to have fouled Azpilicueta.
Chelsea free kick on the halfway line. Lewandowski, who got 30 Bundesliga goals for the 2nd season in succession last time around. There's Willian by the dead ball line, playing it back up to the edge of the penalty area where he thought Azpilicueta was, but he only found Ribery. So Bayern able to break again with Muller, who's looked to play it through to Ribery, and Ribery's got the legs to get there as well. He's on the edge of the penalty area now, up against Christensen. Into the box he goes. Not much in the way of support. He tried to work it through to Lewandowski, but in the end it came through to Courtois.
Given the ball away high up the pitch, and we had a number of bodies committed going forward, and that left us very open at the back. Andreas Christensen is dragged out, but then N'Golo Kante does what N'Golo Kante does best, gets back into support, gets a toe on it. In fact, Ribery found himself in a very similar position to their second goal. This time we managed to defend it much better. Ball's gone into Batshuayi now, and he's given the ball away. And in that final third, although we've looked good going forward, there have been one or two sloppy passes, and here come Bayern again.
With Thomas Muller, he's got Lewandowski up in support. Lewandowski peeled away and allowed Muller to take the shot and stroke it in for 3-0 Bayern. 25 yards from goal, and the man with 25 on his back gets his second of the evening. And Chelsea, well, if they were in trouble before, it's even worse now. Chelsea 0, Bayern 3, and it might be a case of trying to salvage some respectability.
Well, their midfielder's getting completely overrun there. He walks through the middle of the park. There's a number of things that we're not getting right. We're giving the ball away cheaply. Bayern move that ball so quickly through the middle of the park. And again, to score a goal from that distance, he's unchallenged. Courtois will be, I think, a little disappointed with his what's in front of him at the moment. That he's basically just picking his position. Now, listen, this is a little bit of a cause for concern. You know, we're conceding a goal every 10 minutes at the moment.
Bayern clearly stung by that hammering from AC Milan on Saturday. They were 3-0 down at half-time in that game. 3-0 up with less than half an hour on the clock here.
Just can't get near the ball, can we?
It looks to be a real gulf in terms of the fitness levels of the two teams.
There is. You can see that now. The longer this game is going on, they look sharper, they look quicker. Well, the word is fitter and sharper. I think we need to be mindful, Matt, that pre-season is there for a purpose. Main purpose, as you and I spoke before the game, is fitness, momentum, gathering some understanding. But you don't really want to be beaten heavily either, and no one will remember this result come the end of the season if you lift that title again.
There's Ribery. Chelsea will want to give those here in blue shirts something to cheer at some stage in the game. There are plenty of Chelsea supporters here. Martinez on the ball for Bayern, and halfway spread it out right side to Muller, and Chelsea just haven't been able to get close to so far. He's a sort of freakish footballer, Thomas Muller. He doesn't look like a natural athlete in any sense of the word, but he's such a class player on his day. Martinez with the ball, and she's going to keep just in front of his own penalty area and then roll forward to Renato Sanchez. Of course, in these sort of games, the substitutions are usually planned well in advance. I wonder if Antonio Conte might be tempted to change his mind based on what he's seen. Now, we're going to see a yellow card here for a challenge by Victor Moses.
That is a little bit of frustration there from Victor Moses. The ball is there to be won, but it's a clumsy challenge from him. The first touch is not the best, and that presents the opportunity, but then it's a late tackle. It's not the best that Victor Moses will have put in, and I just think that's out of a little bit of frustration.
Friedel was the player who he caught, and indeed he does go into the books. Usually got to be something a little more severe than that to earn a yellow card in a pre-season friendly, but I'm assuming that the organisers of this tournament want it to resemble competitive football as closely as possible.
I think that's a fair booking, Matt. I think if we saw that in the first game of the Premier League, and
nailed
someone put Moses in a position like that, and half an hour gone, and there's a little bit of a drinks break, and Antonio Conte will, I think, just the thing that is obvious right now is the fitness levels, but the ease in which they're kind of cutting us open through the middle of the park. Conte, and you see there's a number of players around Antonio Conte.
But it's interesting that it's the attacking players who he's speaking to, as we get the chance here on our monitor to have another look at what's happened so far. And they're all goals which, to a certain extent, were preventable.
Yeah, the thing that's more hitting real hope than the opportunity to present itself. I don't take it. It's well struck. It's not brilliant. This one is disappointing from our point of view. You know, he's walked past Azpilicueta, and then Thomas Müller finds himself at the far post.
Lovely stood-up ball by Ribery for that second goal, and Müller just volleying it in.
The third goal, we give possession away high up the pitch, and we've committed a lot of men forward. But the middle of the park is wide open. No one engages the ball with Thomas Müller. They all back off. They all back off. They all back off. And eventually you give a player of his quality. I have to say it's a fine finish. It really is a brilliantly executed strike. Someone has got to engage that ball at some stage. It was 2v2, and it was the run as well. It was a brilliant run. I think it may well have been Lewandowski, but it's a brilliant run that takes our defenders into a deeper position and opens up that space. But no, it's only pre-season.
Here's Renato Sanchez, play back underway now. We had around about a minute's break there. Reminder, by the way, you can see this game in full from midnight tonight on Chelsea TV. There's Thomas Müller on the ball for Bayern. It's been his half so far. Really impressive with their front Ribery as well.
Yeah, their front four, Ribery, Lewandowski. It's a great ball to Lewandowski. Can't quite keep the ball in. He manages to somehow, but Gary Cahill picks it up. But Lewandowski and Müller, the movement, they interchange the whole time. Always on their toes, always sharp, never standing still. And Rodriguez on one side, as you highlighted, Frank Ribery has been involved in a lot of good things that Bayern have done here.
Still a shot to Carlo Ancelotti, looking pretty content down there on the touchline. Ball here to Munich to try and win the Champions League as the ball comes through to Boga. Chance for a goal back, maybe. Good goalkeeping from Starker, who came off his line. And then he just grabbed it right on the edge of the penalty area. The referee said he was just inside the box.
But his feet were. I'm not sure his hands were. We've got a brilliant angle here from, we're going to see it. I'm going to say he's outside the box, Matt. Oh, just on the line.
A little wry smile from him as he grabbed the ball right on the line.
Yeah, fair play to the ref and the assistants. I think they probably got that right.
First time we've seen that ball over the top from Fabregas.
Good run from Boga as well, from left-hand side, running across the line.
Making a nuisance of himself meanwhile at the other end, but Azpilicueta managed to deal with it.
Great run from Frank Ribery, brilliant defending from Azpilicueta.
If you didn't know, you'd never think that Ribery was a 34-year-old playing in 30-degree heat in a pre-season game. He's looked as fresh as a spring chicken so far. Shade over 10 minutes of the first half to go. Chelsea looking for a goal back to give them some hope of avoiding defeat in this match. N'Golo Kante on the ball, inside left position, swishes a pass out to the right side. Moses just about controlled it on his chest. Carlo Ancelotti with his arm in the air appealing for handball. I think he had a case too. Play goes on there with Azpilicueta. Moses then flicked it off the boot of a defender. It's come through to Willian near the dead ball line. Back heel from him into the path of Moses. Rolled all the way back to Azpilicueta. Cross from him to Fabregas. Batshuayi trying to hold it up but can't with his back to goal.
Needed a better ball there from Fabregas, and again now Bayern, they mentioned about committing men going forward, and that's a good foul there from Gary Cahill. He apologises to the referee. I think Gary knows. You think about where his position is and where he's got dragged out to. He didn't want to be there. I think he has to foul him.
Simply knew that Tolisso was quicker than him. It would have been difficult to catch up to him. No yellow card on that occasion. There's Mats Hummels for Bayern, forward to the lively Ribery.
Yeah, that ball that Cesc played into to Batshuayi, you want to play it down the side that the defender isn't. So the defender's marking on your right shoulder, you want to play it down the left-hand side. And Mats Hummels was standing on the left, and Fabregas, whose passing is normally exemplary, played it down the same side he was standing, and it gave him a chance to have a nibble. And he did, and he won it.
Chelsea looking for a free kick for a challenge on Boga on halfway, but the referee says play on. Ribery with a flick out to the left-hand side, and Friedel, just seeing the possession stats, Bayern have had 62% of the ball so far in the first half. 10 minutes of it to go. The key statistic sees them 3-0 in front. And they come again with Rafinha over on the far side, the right.
He's caused a number of problems, Matt, and again he's walking down that right-hand side.
On that occasion he flicked it into the path of Muller inside the penalty area, but he couldn't manage to engineer a shot. But he's had the freedom of the National Stadium in the first half as Rafinha. Cakewalk to the title for Bayern, only beaten twice in the league last season, but disappointingly thrashed really by Real Madrid in the Champions League quarter-final. Here comes Boga, nudged over by Renato Sanchez. Free kick here in a position of promise, maybe 27, 28 yards from goal. Chance for Fabregas to create an opportunity maybe.
Does well, Boga. Haven't seen enough of this from any Chelsea player really, and Sanchez gets wrong side. It's a shove in the back. He gets his body there first. Jeremy Boga, and Renato Sanchez there, forced to make the foul. Willian has scored a free kick from here. Champions League a couple of years ago. Stamford Bridge. Think of that one. Matthew Harding end.
He's going to try his luck again here. Decided it's close enough to go directly for goal. Bayern forming a four-man wall, which Messrs Cahill and Alonso have joined the end of. Kante's also stood over the ball, but I can't imagine he'll be striking this. Will be Willian. Two-step run-up, straight into the wall. Disappointing. Not sure it was 10 yards back, actually, but ought to have done a bit better. Chelsea quick to win it back through Boga, and then Alonso can't quite get his foot on it, nor Batshuayi, so it's cleared up toward halfway.
See, Bayern are looking to spring that trap, aren't they? Done it a number of times. It's a ball given away by Cesc again, and his arms out remonstrating there. I think he was saying that you've got to come closer to come and receive the ball.
Time not too far away. Chelsea, having performed so well against Arsenal on Saturday and scored 3 themselves, have conceded 3 so far here to the German Giants. Free kick for a foul on Lewandowski. 15-20 yards over halfway over on the far side, the right. Marcos Alonso, the man who brought him to ground. Lewandowski seemingly settled at Bayern now. Rumours of interest from all over the world in him a couple of seasons ago.
Well, we were linked with him in this window, weren't we? I don't know what he would cost to get him out of that contract, but my word, if you're talking the sort of figures we are for fullbacks right now, then you could be talking world record fee. In fact, it probably would have to be.
If Neymar's 200 mil, he's probably not that far off that, I would imagine. Moses playing it down the right. Easily collected and cleared by Tolisso. Seeing the stubbornness of German teams in this transfer window particularly. You think of Liverpool's pursuit of Naby Keita, which has gone up to somewhere around £70 million if reports are to be believed, but the German club's not prepared to be bullied by their English counterparts. There'll be a free kick here for a foul on Rafinha over on the right side, just as we see the close-up shot again. Worth passing comment on the state of the pitch, which is far from ideal. Bayern have made it work for them, okay?
Yeah, same for both teams. You're right, it's not brilliant, but that's not why we're losing at the moment, 3-0. Managed to steady the game. I think it's fair to say in the last 10 minutes or so, Matt, we've got a footing in this game. Maybe the intensity that Bayern had in the opening first 30 has dropped a little as well.
Of course, it could be a completely different game second half, depending on how many changes both coaches make and at what stage. There's Courtois. Rolled it out to Azpilicueta, quickly closed down by Ribery, and he forced him to play it out.
Again there, when you mentioned the intensity's dropping, well, not there from Ribery. Closing down James, I think it was Rodriguez that's closed down Thibaut Courtois. Again, they're high up the pitch. Rodriguez closes down, Lewandowski's in support, and Chelsea are forced to go long. And actually it turned out to be not a bad ball at all. Willian nearly capitalising, but the excellent Mats Hummels deals with it.
5 to go until half-time. Chelsea trailing by 3-0. Fabregas switching it out to the left-hand side to Alonso. Full touch from him. Rafinha able to knock it out for a throw.
Yeah, it just showed that was a really good ball from Fabregas. Switch and play. Alonso's first touch is normally really good, and he just bounced off, and that yard that it's gone a bit too far. Rafinha there is alive and sharp, and be good to get something before half-time, just to get ourselves back into this game, make a bit of a competition. At the moment it has been one-way traffic.
Fabregas just starting to get more involved on the ball again. Out wide right to Moses, level with the edge of the penalty area. 2 Bayern defenders in front of him, so he rolls it back to Azpilicueta. Here's Fabregas once more, flicked into the path of Batshuayi, edge of the box, back to goal. Holding it up until Javi Martinez got something on it, then Kante's touch was loose, which means that Bayern are on it again as they look to break with Lewandowski on halfway, but he's shepherded back into his own half by Cahill. Cahill puts in a sliding challenge to win it from James Rodriguez. Fabregas infield to Boga, touched off first time to Batshuayi. Now here's Willian, edge of the box right side, cuts infield, won't want to shoot with his left, instead he tees it up for Alonso. Alonso's going to have a go with his right foot, and that goes a fair way wide. And he was such a regular contributor last season, Marcos Alonso. 6 goals he got in total. Decent position, but not on his favoured foot. Yeah,
Willian had the same problem as Alonso did. You know, they're both cut inside and opens up the goal. But of course, when you're playing on the right, your right foot, it opens up and it's naturally then on your left foot. And Alonso had a very similar problem. But the ball's been given away and Chelsea have got possession. Oh, and now they've just been a little bit of a feature of our game in this first half. Some of the passing has been really, really good, really crisp, in particularly the early part of the game, but it's dropped off a little bit. Chance.
Batshuayi, edge of the box, going to go for goal here. Batshuayi on, it's a good save as well from Starker, got down low and turned it round for what is going to be the first corner of the game. But certainly signs of encouragement and improvement from Chelsea as we approach half-time.
Moses wins this ball, plays the ball into Batshuayi, he's got a yard of space, and it's on his left foot. We scored 2 stunners against Arsenal. Moses there was saying, could you play it into me? I think he's right to have the strike from there.
Willian's going to take the corner out, swinging delivery to the edge of the 6-yard box, and it was attacked well by Andreas Christensen. Couldn't quite get the contact he wanted. Helped back in by Boga. Alonso coming in again and touched away from him, and behind for another corner by Javi Martinez.
Good bit of pressure from Chelsea as the first half comes to an end. Just drags his shot a little bit, Batshuayi, but I said after what happened against Arsenal, he's entitled to it.
Fabregas pulls it back across the face of goal. Batshuayi went for it. Again, it's turned behind by Martinez. A 3rd corner in quick succession here for Chelsea. Again, it's going to be Willian who will take it from this near side, the right. A couple of minutes of the first half left to play. Another out-swinging delivery, this time to the penalty spot, and this time met by the head of Christensen, and it dropped just wide of the post. Cahill was in there too. Not sure who got the touch between the two, but certainly a half-decent chance. It was Cahill who met it. Brilliant delivery flighted in from Willian.
Does well, Cahill. The ball it's one of those that's struck in with pace, but an outswinger. And Gary Cahill gets underneath it slightly. I think he does ever so well get the contact he does. I thought it was in the back of the net. The jumping, it was a standing jump. Made the second half a little different, of course, if we managed to get something on the score sheet.
Foul by Willian. His boot was a little too high on halfway. Seems the players sweat pouring in these hot, muggy conditions. It'll help in terms of building up the fitness, but it's got to be difficult to say the least. We come by him with Friedel. Been well down that left-hand side, the teenager so far. Leading field for Ribéry, halfway inside Chelsea's half here, Bayern. Renato Sanchez swapping passes with James Rodriguez. Leading field by Rafinha, back to Renato Sanchez. Kante there is a shadow, but Sanchez stepped away from him. Now he's looking for somebody to cross to. Only Lewandowski in the penalty area for Bayern, and eventually Alonso and Kante between them able to take it off Sanchez. He nudges Alonso over, and Chelsea get a free kick.
Sanchez does really well, and there were 3 chances for him to cross it, and he's got Lewandowski in the box, and we know how good he is in the air. I don't know why he hasn't put this ball in, Matt. You're after sometimes the perfect chance to cross. It doesn't happen. Get a yard of space, dink it in, and in the end Chelsea crowd him out. Free kick given against him on Alonso.
The officials found 3 minutes of stoppage time from somewhere, which we're going to have at the end of the first half. We're into it now. Christensen plays it all the way back to Courtois. A couple of nasty bobbles as it rolls back through to the Chelsea keeper, whose clearance then only finds Rafinha on halfway. Rafinha playing it back into his own half to Javi Martinez. It'll be interesting to see how many, if any, changes Antonio Conte makes at half-time. And we are hoping to get a glimpse of Alvaro Morata at some stage tonight. We'll hear from the £60 million man at half-time. Here's Ribery. Support from Friedel to his left if he wants it. Chooses to use him now. Friedel near the corner flag on this near side, the left. Playing it back to Thomas Muller, point to the penalty area, then off for Ribery. Managed to roll away from Azpilicueta. Now a chance for a shot for Rafinha. Alonso prevented that from happening, but Rafinha managed to work it out right side to Rodriguez. Lovely ball from Rodriguez to Rafinha. Can he get there to put the crossing? Not quite. Turned behind for a corner by Gary Cahill.
Gary Cahill reads it well, but again down that right-hand side, Rafinha's it's causing one or two big problems. It's a great run. Marcos Alonso doesn't go with him. Jeremy Boga, between the pair of them, are static, and Gary Cahill reads it, puts it out for a corner, because if he doesn't read that, Gary, he's in.
Bayern's first corner of the game. And punched away by Courtois, around about chest height from the edge of his 6-yard box. William manages to hold on to it. Batshuayi looking to break here, managed to ride the challenge and then offload it to Kante. Kante forward for Fabregas, has done well to touch it off to Alonso. Crossing halfway, Marcos Alonso, Bayern back in numbers, but he slipped it into the channel for the run of Jeremy Boga. Boga near the dead ball line here, up against Rafinha, skips past him, goes past another challenge. Boga, lovely ball into Alonso. Can he make room for a shot here? No, he's crowded out by 3. Manages to hang on to it though. Found Fabregas edge of the box. Fabregas almost lost it to Muller, then won it back. Here's N'Golo Kante now, 30 yards out middle of the pitch. Square ball from him to Azpilicueta, lifted into the box, headed away on the penalty spot by Javi Martinez. Good bit of quality there from Jeremy Boga though.
Does really well, Boga, and then Alonso just can't quite get that yard of space. We were talking earlier, weren't we, about Rafinha, how he had a chance, Martinez earlier, but didn't quite put the ball in.
Now Moses crossing into the penalty area. Batshuayi missed it, but then it's hammered in by Marcos Alonso. With probably the last kick of the first half, Chelsea get themselves a goal back to make it interesting in the second. Something for the blue supporters here in Singapore to cheer. Nice finish from Alonso.
Yeah, we needed that. We really did. I mentioned a couple of minutes ago that it'd be nice to go well worked on the right hand side. Moses spins a beautiful ball in. Batshuayi can't quite get there. It's gone across the face of the 6-yard box. Marcos Alonso walks into it. He's got a lovely strike on him. We've seen it before. Laces, left foot, drilled it. Goalkeeper had absolutely no chance, and just changes the complex, and that is the last we're going to see of this first half, Matt, and it does change. I think for the game we needed to get ourselves back into it.
So Chelsea with work to do, but maybe hope of getting something from this game at half-time in Singapore. They trail Bayern Munich by 3 goals to 1. Don't go too far. We'll be back with the second half after this short break.
Costa, but will definitely give us a platform. His first touch, his back to goal is good, which is important the way that we play. Can run in the channels as well. Good in the air. Good, but two good feet. But of course the Premier League is slightly different, and who knows what strikers will do. There's a number of strikers that have come over and adapted to life quickly. And Costa is a perfect example of that. And there's one or two others in the past that have just taken a little bit of time to adjust. And I think it's fair to say that though Didier, I think he got 15 goals in his first season at Stamford Bridge. It's fair to say that he struggled to adapt a little bit, but look at the legend he turned into. So we're looking forward to seeing how he will operate in this system, but I'm pleased that Conte got the man that he wanted. He would have seen a lot of him when he was Italian manager, when he was playing at Juve. Of course, he would have been scouting and watching all the Italian players building up to the European Championships. So yeah, I'm happy, really happy that we've got the man that Conte wanted.
And for a layman like myself, it seems a good thing that the spine of the team is what's been improved in Rudiger and Bakayoko as well. These are players who are going to come in and make an impact in key areas of the pitch.
Yes, absolutely. And I think it's right. We look back over the years that we've had huge success. It's been well documented. Cech, Terry, Lampard, Didier, right through that spine. And it's important you get that area right. Bakayoko, this game in particular, you can see the impact that he would have. He's got legs, he can get about, he's a big physical presence. And we missed that in today's game. Listen, this is pre-season, it's Fabregas's game. He just looks at the game passing by a little bit, and his passing game has not been as sharp as it can be. And we're just getting a little overrun in the middle of the park. And mentioned Rudiger coming in as well, another big, strong physical presence. So yes, Conte has strengthened that spine, and if we can believe what we read in the papers today, there are plenty more signings on their way.
Team's back out here for the second half. We'll get the substitutions, how many there are, confirmed to you ASAP, but you might have to bear with us. It's always one of the joys of pre-season from a commentator's perspective. You get players wandering on at various times. See Frank Ribery's still out there, having had a quite brilliant first half for Bayern Munich. Chelsea boys just out there now, joining the Bayern players. Remember, if this game does finish level at 90 minutes, we'll have a penalty shootout to determine who wins it.
Bayern Munich in a penalty shootout?
Oh yes, please.
Where have I heard that?
Last two games between these two have gone to penalties actually. The 2014 Super Cup as well. But the one we all remember was in 2012. Bayern making a couple of changes at the start of the second half here. Kingsley Coman has come on for Robert Lewandowski. Coman, who's just joined on a permanent basis, having been on loan from Juventus for the last 2 seasons. And they're going to change their goalkeeper as well here, the German champions. Highly regarded player, Coman, so a different problem for Chelsea to deal with. Fruttel is the goalkeeper who's come on, by the way, for the second half here. He's only 17 years of age. Chelsea look to test him as quickly as possible. Bayern, though, have got the second half underway. They are kicking left to right as we look at it. So no changes, it would appear, from Chelsea at this stage of the game. It'll be just a matter of time before they start to happen, though, one would assume. What would the message have been from Antonio Conte at half-time?
Well, it makes it a little easier that we got that goal back, of course. There will be some concerns there, the way that Bayern just moved the ball so freely through the middle of the park. On the right-hand side, our left, again, is a bit of a concern. Jeremy Boga kind of not fully understanding the defensive responsibilities of that role. But we've got ourselves back into it now, and you know, if we are to get the next goal in this game, we're very much back in it. But I have to say, Bayern looked very impressive in that first half. But fitness is a paramount importance. Get another game under your belt. I think you mentioned it earlier, Matt. This is their 7th pre-season game. This is only our 2nd on this tour and 3rd in total. So we are, fitness-wise, some way behind them.
Of course, Germany were involved in the Confederations Cup this summer, but not many of his squad took part. There's a very young German side that went out there. Here comes Rafinha for them, danger man in the first half, and he's crossing into the box here.
Yeah, that's been a feature of their first half. He's been cause too many problems. The right back shouldn't really be one of the best players on the pitch as an attacking sense, and he has been.
Jeremy Boga maybe not quite as defensively minded as Antonio Conte would like him to be. It's a real change for Boga though, coming into a team like this, having had a really tough season at Granada last year. They were relegated with plenty to spare. Their fate looked sealed from around about Christmas time. It's quite a contrast to playing for the champions of England. Clearance away from the goalkeeper Fruchtel, and the pressure from Batshuayi. Chelsea will want to ask him a question as quickly as possible. Who would be nervous, the 17-year-old. In possession over on the far side, the left on halfway. Here's Ribery's touch, knocking it back to Tolisso, and it goes all the way back to the young goalkeeper Fruchtel. And that from him to Javi Martinez. And alongside Matt Simmons in the heart of the defence this evening. It's Tolisso again. His first cap for France in March of this year, came in from Lyon a month or so ago. And ball over hit, which will come all the way through to Thibaut Courtois. Beaten 3 times in the first half. He didn't have any other saves to make really though. There's Cahill bringing the ball out of defence for Chelsea. Marcos Alonso right in front of Carlo Ancelotti. So fondly thought of course, by everybody at Stamford Bridge, Ancelotti, having won the double in his first season as Blues boss. Something about Italian managers and Chelsea Football Club seem to go together like hand in glove. There's Rafinha. All the way back to Martinez. Not much intensity at the start of the second half, but then there rarely is in these sort of games, particularly when they're played in these sort of conditions.
Yeah, we saw the tempo that Bayern started the match in drop at about the half-hour mark. That was the point really where we started to get a footing into the game.
Stunned over the top by Rafinha, could ball that for Coman at the dead ball line, hammers over his cross, overhit it by some margin actually, and it's flown out of play for a Chelsea throw-in over on the far side, the right.
Yeah, Alonso's got caught in that horrible position where you can't really affect the ball when you've got close and tight, and Coman's run is good, but again Rafinha's on that right hand side is dictating an awful lot of what's good about Bayern.
They are again. Shot from distance from Tolisso, was always flying high and wide.
Speculative effort. Set up for him.
We'll focus on the 12th of August and Burnley visiting the Bridge. Both these sides in action a week before that. Chelsea in the Community Shield against Arsenal at Wembley. Bayern playing in the German equivalent, the German Super Cup as they call it, against Borussia Dortmund, who won the DFB Pokal, the German equivalent to the FA Cup last season.
Good pressure that from Batshuayi, he's done really well. Again, Bayern managed to wiggle out of it.
There's Rodriguez playing it left side. I've seen Rodriguez get too heavily involved in the game so far as he gets to know his new teammates. Friedel bringing it forward, played left side to Riddle, coming in off the touchline. Passing field for Rodriguez, quickly closed down by Fabregas, who tries to win it off Sanchez and does so. Batshuayi, nice layoff for Willian on halfway. Willian over on the far side, the right, only Batshuayi ahead of him. Boga coming up in support now. Willian tries to knock it round the defender, touch on the ball to win it back just about the right side of the law, though Willian's gone down and has stayed down. So the ball's played out of play by Friedel, so he can get some treatment.
Yeah, he tries to knock it round one side of Rodriguez and it doesn't quite knock it far enough. James Rodriguez defensively does ever so well. It's a good solid tackle, it's not a foul, and I think Willian will be okay. He's up.
Yeah, a bit of a grimace on his face, but I'm sure he will be trying to continue. Two South Americans colliding there, the Brazilian Willian and the Colombian Rodriguez. It's Javi Martinez just inside his own penalty area. Martinez was sent off in the quarter-final against Real Madrid last season. That after Bayern had hammered Arsenal 10-2 on aggregate to get to that stage. Ball played over the top, asking Rodriguez to chase. Too much weight on it though. It goes out of play. Guided by Christensen for a throw-in in the right-back position for Chelsea.
Pressing high again, Bayern. Thomas Muller there, urging his teammates to join him. Of course, then Chelsea are forced to go long, and Jeremy Boga loses out, and Bayern regain possession.
Chelsea subs, by the way: Caballero, Morata, Remy, Luis, Tomori, Callas, Bulka, Baker, Clark, Salter, Scott, Eduardo, for Salic. So mainly young players, with the notable exceptions of Morata, David Luiz, and the lesser spotted Loic Remy, who missed most of last season injured whilst he was on loan at Crystal Palace. Difficult ball back for Courtois to deal with here from Christensen. He did well under pressure from Koeman, then swap passes with Azpilicueta, cleared away long by Courtois, out of play for a throw for Bayern near the halfway line.
Yeah, it wasn't easy to get out of that, but we did. Christensen plays the ball back to Courtois, and it's always horrible when the goalkeeper is so deep in his 6-yard box and the ball's bobbling back towards him. He's given him a good angle, Christensen, but how many times have you seen a goalkeeper miscontrol it? But he does well on his left foot, manages to play a 1-2 and work her way out of that situation. But pressing high again, Bayern.
Particularly on this quagmire of a pitch, that's really the last thing a keeper wants to deal with, but he's so good with his feet. Thibaut Courtois, ball over the top, aimed at Ribéry, intercepted by the head of Azpilicueta. Here's Moses now, laying it off for Christensen. And then Gary Cahill with a first-time ball swept out to Marcus Alonso near the halfway line, closed down by Koeman, so it goes back to Cahill again. Cahill in field for Christensen. Under no pressure, so he can just eke his way up toward the halfway line. Then he puts the brakes on and gives it to Kante. Alonso, strong challenge on him from Rafinha. He did get some of the ball, but the referee didn't like the nature of it from the Brazilians, so Chelsea get a free kick.
It's a sharp all game. So Alonso, yeah, it's a foul in the modern game. He's lunged in. You could argue he's not in control.
There's Willian. Was there for company. Willian, he almost managed to get round him, and it just ran out of play for a throw to Bayern over on the far side, the left.
Hummels was totally committed to that, wasn't he? And if he doesn't win that ball there, Willian is around him. And in the end, Hummels manages just to get something on it and goes out for a throw-in.
I think Antonio Conte will be relatively pleased with how his team have started the second half after that goal from Marcus Alonso right at the end of the first, which managed to get Chelsea back into the game to a certain extent, but still looking for two more to restore parity as Bayern come forward looking for the goal, which would probably end this as a contest. Good defending from Azpilicueta though.
Does really well.
Courtois.
Does well. That little 1-2 that they like to play when you drag out that either side of the central's defender when you play a 3. That's the space they want to try and get in behind where the wing backs are. He reads it well.
Absolutely right. And what you said in the first half about him being the best in the Premier League in terms of one-on-one defending, there are a few better in Europe at the moment, I think, really. Bayern still bossing it in terms of possession. They've had 62% of the ball in the first 10 minutes of the second half, and they still lead by 3-1. Here's Rafinha again, edge of the penalty area, floating one in, poor cross that, headed away by Cahill.
And Rafinha again is having freedom out there at the moment.
Evoking memories of another Brazilian right-back, Cafu, with his performance. Here's Koeman standing a ball up to the edge of the box. Ribéry on the volley from 20 yards. Always a difficult skill. And he blazed it high, wide and over Courtois' goal.
Kingsley Koeman there, using that, putting the afterburners on, gets to the byline. He cuts it back towards the edge of the box, and as you mentioned there, it's a tough skill that for Ribéry. If it's on his right foot, you perhaps would feel he'd make a better contact, but well worked.
Notes being taken down on the Chelsea dugout. We're at the stage where we'll start seeing substitutions as we get to the hour mark. One would think that'll be when the changes come. Antonio Conte likes to leave it late in competitive matches, but it's all about getting minutes into players at this stage. Of course, the other side of it is not overdoing it and risking injury by tiring players out. Bayern coming forward again here. Cross comes in from the left, in toward the penalty area. Great header as well, which goes just wide from James Rodriguez. I said great header because I thought it was bound for the net. In the end, it was a couple of inches the wrong side of the post. Rodriguez kicks the turf in frustration.
Well, it's beautifully worked. They've got two men over. He gets a run on Marcos Alonso, and really a player of Rodriguez's ability, that should really beat 4-1.
Meanwhile, ball played up looking for Willian. It was a hopeful punt upfield, but it was dealt with by Mats Hummels. Cleared away then as far as Tolisso with a lovely spin after a despairing challenge to try and take the ball from him. But Tolisso's eating up the yards here, edge of the penalty area. Then after all that good work, he just gives it straight to Victor Moses and Chelsea can clear.
I can quite see how Fabregas doesn't win that ball. He goes to ground and it looked like he was nailed on to win the challenge, but he doesn't. And because N'Golo Kante is so high up the pitch, the pair of them, there's a space of about 50 yards in behind them where a Chelsea player was standing, and Bayern couldn't capitalise.
Chelsea throw level with the edge of the Bayern box, left side taken by Alonso, and Fabregas forward to Willian. Willian moves it out to Azpilicueta. Now it's right side with Moses, being closed down by Friedel, so he gives it back to Fabregas. Fabregas loses out, but the ball runs kindly for Cahill. Now here's Kante, bit of space for him to run into. Plays it left side to Alonso, crossing position here. Over it comes from Marcos Alonso, headed away on the penalty spot by Martinez. It's come back to Fabregas, 25 yards out. Now Willian, edge of the penalty area right side. Ribery in front of him. Willian holds it up, then lays it off for Fabregas. Dinked in by him, looking for the run of Alonso, but only found Rafinha, who chests it back down to the keeper.
Yeah, good build-up play down the left-hand side from Chelsea. Four bodies in the box. In the end, the cross found a Bayern head. Chelsea managed to recycle the ball out the right-hand side, but they had so many numbers back at that stage. But Chelsea win possession. Oh, nearly. Fabregas nearly manages to pick the pocket of Ribery.
As Rafinha bringing it clear, that playing it forward to Rodriguez, kept it away from Kante. Now Renato Sanchez. Kante looking to close him down. Sanchez plays it into the centre circle to Tolisso. Immediately returned it back to Sanchez, and then miscommunication sees Chelsea win the ball back. Fabregas inside the centre circle. Short pass from him to Azpilicueta. Now Gary Cahill. Here's Alonso. Substitutes coming on any second now. One of them is wearing number 9. David Luiz will also be with us before too long, but it's the first glimpse of Alvaro Morata, which is going to give Chelsea fans reason to cheer, but they might be about to see their team go 4-1 down. Here's James Rodriguez inside the penalty area. Fabulous block from Gary Cahill. It came after a great run from Franck Ribery, and Cahill with a last-ditch challenge to turn the shot behind for a Bayern corner.
Yeah, brilliant pace from Franck Ribery. Bursts past our midfield too, and there's Rodriguez there, shapes up, his body shaping, he wants it on his left foot, his favourite left foot. And Gary Cahill, last ditch, brilliant tackle, really was, goal-saving challenge.
Rodriguez to take the corner, first of the second half. 4-1 straight onto the head of Batshuayi, who was defending the edge of the 6-yard box. We've played for an hour now in Singapore. Chelsea trailing by 3-1. Remember, you can see the game in full from midnight on Chelsea TV. Here's Ribery, edge of the penalty area, inside left position, laid off, overcomes the cross, back his way, deflected off Moses, behind for another Bayern corner.
Yeah, Bayern up in the tempo of the second half now, the last 5-10 minutes. Chelsea all hands on deck defensively, some last-ditch defending. Bayern always seem to have an extra body, and there will be now a substitution that every Chelsea fan is looking forward to seeing.
To make 2 changes as well, but the referee I don't think has spotted that the substitutes are ready to come on, so we might get this corner beforehand. Over it comes to the edge of the 6-yard box, headed away by Marcos Alonso. Now here's Willian. Willian with his back to goal, near the edge of his own penalty area, drifting away from a couple of red shirts before releasing it back to Courtois. This is Gary Cahill. Being closed down by Coman, so he gave it to Alonso. First time ball from him up into the air, into the centre circle. Antovic and Goetze, the two young Bayern players waiting to come on. Morata and Luis readied for Chelsea. The ball's got to go out to play first. There's Fabregas to Batshuayi, allowed to turn just past halfway, then hammered it straight against Tolisso. Batshuayi again trying to make something happen but can't. It's broken for Rodriguez inside the centre circle, plays it left side to Ribéry. Ribéry infield for Rodriguez once more. Kante trying to put his foot in to win it back, but Rodriguez strong and skillful enough to keep possession. Gives it to Ribéry. Scooped up for Rafinha. Can Boga close him down this time? Rafinha offloads it to Koeman before Boga can get close to him. Koeman flicks it outside for Rafinha again. Chance to cross from the dead ball line. It's broken back for Koeman here. Just inside the box. Tees it up for Renato Sanchez. From 25 yards, blazes his shot way over the crossbar. And that will provide the opportunity for the substitutions finally to happen. And we'll get our first look at Alvaro Morata in the Chelsea shirt. We'll get the thick end of half an hour to show us what we could be in for next season. Just wait to see who it is who's coming off. David Luiz also coming on in place of Andreas Christensen. So Morata and Luiz on. And we'll make their two substitutions now too. How did Christensen do in his hour and a bit for you?
It was a tough, eventful first 45 for him, let's be honest. Parts of it were good. I felt a little sorry for him. I don't think he had a great deal of protection in front. I think the back three at times were being dragged out of position because of what was going on in front of them. I think he started the game pretty well. I don't think he did a great deal wrong, in all honesty, Matt. I just think it was a tough game for him, actually. The Bayern looked so sharp.
Jeremy Boga, the man who gave way for Morata, by the way. Almost got involved for the first time there. Bayern able to keep it away from him now. He's one of their substitutes. Felix Goetze, if you are thinking that the name rings a bell, he is indeed the younger brother of Mario Goetze, the former Bayern man who got the winner in the World Cup final a couple of years ago. There's Renato Sanchez.
Just trying to see where Morata is lining up there. He's Batshuayi obviously still on the pitch. Just trying to see what Chelsea's shape is. Difficult at the moment because the ball is in Bayern's possession. They've given it away. Chelsea got a throw in. It'd be interesting to see where, if it is a two-man attack, see if we might have had a slight change in formation.
There is Morata. He's over by the corner flag on the far side, the right, and he's in the throw-in on Friedel. He's going to be taken by Victor Moses. It's 10 yards up from the corner flag. Play to Willian. Moses has it back, looking for room for a cross. Found it too, trying to find Morata. Lovely ball in there. So can't quite keep it in play on the far side.
Well, nothing wrong with the cross. There's not much more Willian can do in that situation. He shouldn't really even get the ball over. But he does, gets a yard. I don't think Morata was expecting it. That's the sort of thing, Matt, that you would guess 10 games in, if there's a similar situation, Morata will think he's going to get the ball in here, he's capable of doing that.
Look for a high boot on David Luiz.
And therefore perhaps we'll read the situation a little better.
Here's Kante for Marcus Alonso. Again, approaching the midway point in the second half here. No change to the half-time score. Bayern still leading by 3 goals to 1. Chelsea much better at both ends of the pitch in the second half, though, I'd say. Certainly defensively seem to have tightened up somewhat. There's Renato Sanchez.
It looks like Morata has come on. It's a strange swap with Jeremy Boga.
On the ball. We know what's expected of Chelsea front man. Morata will have to work hard when he's not on the ball, but I would expect him to play through the middle more often than not. But Batshuayi competing for that place. At the moment, Batshuayi is the central of the three. There's Alonso playing it down the line for Willian, who's left-hand side for the moment. Back with Marcos Alonso now. Here's Willian. Knocking it out to Fabregas. Fabregas trying to switch it from left to right, but can't clear the head of the defender. It's broken here, though, almost for Alonso in the penalty area. A really good challenge, kept it away from him. And now Koeman leading the charge for Bayern. It's 4-on-3 in the Germans' favour here. Kingsley Coman, can he find the right pass? Dabbed over the top for James Rodriguez. Laid off by him to Ribéry. Ribéry can't find room for a shot, so he plays it back. And it's drilled across the face of goal. And wide of the far post. Courtois looked as though he had that effort covered from Rodriguez.
Yeah, we saw a similar break in the first half that Chelsea are throwing men forward. Get caught on the counter. Bayern there, having so much pace going through. Chelsea managed to regroup, get numbers back, but James Rodriguez's strike he's dragged it, doesn't quite connect cleanly, and Courtois sees the ball drift wide of his post.
As well as Tolisso, by the way, it was Rafinha who went off a moment ago in that substitution for Bayern, so that's one less problem for Chelsea to deal with.
Yeah, it looks like the three up top are William, Batshuayi and Morata, and there's no real number 9, so to speak, of at the moment. Batshuayi's on the right, William is the more central of the three. Now they've swapped, and Morata is on the left-hand side, and it'd be interesting to see if he picks up that defensive responsibility that it doesn't look like he has, because the overlapping fullback has managed to find some space. Now he drifts in, so I think it is a straight swap with Boga.
Here's Ribéry, twisting and turning on the edge of the penalty area, away from Azpilicueta, works it into Rodriguez. Great save from Courtois, diving down low. And there's Rodriguez, could have had a hat-trick in this match, but Frank Ribéry has been rolling back the years. He's really pulled the strings in there for Bayern.
Look, very sharp, hasn't he? That pace that you expect there to be maybe a yard gone, but it doesn't look like it. On another day, I think you do get a foul there. I think he was clipped there the first time, then on the edge of the box by Moses. The shot gets away, good save by Thibaut Courtois down to his left-hand side, but a corner has been conceded.
Third of the second half for Bayern. It'll be taken from the far side, the left, by James Rodriguez. Out swinging delivery toward the penalty spot. Good header from Javi Martinez too, but it drops just wide of Courtois' post.
No challenge at all from Chelsea there. I think they got caught underneath the ball, and Martinez watches it the whole way.
Followed by Fabregas up to Morata inside the centre circle. Almost showed too much of it to Sanchez, but brilliant footwork from Morata to get away from a couple of challenges. Spread it left side to Alonso, made his way into the penalty area. Alonso held up by Goetze. No foul apparently. Alonso's won it back off Goetze, edge of the penalty area. Can he find room for a shot maybe here, Alonso? Now he needs to offload it, does so to Kante. He plays it to Fabregas, stabbed up by Fabregas for Alonso again, on the volley, almost for Morata. Then it hit Batshuayi, and Bayern have got it clear. Great chance for a second goal.
The ball just doesn't fall kindly at all for Batshuayi. And it's almost like he was just waiting for it to sit in front of him, and it bounces up off his knee. I think there may well have been a free kick given before that, Matt. I can't quite work out why the referee's been brought this back as far, and you almost get the feeling even if that had gone in, it may well not have been given. Didn't see the infringement.
No, not me. Referee did though. Free kick to Bayern inside the penalty area, taken quickly inside the final 20 minutes of this match now.
Well, Morata looks sharp, I have to say. Ball comes into his feet, kind of turned into a little bit of trouble, but then manages to get that ricochet, get it out on his left foot, put the ball out wide to Alonso and get himself into the box, and he was in and around there, and here was Morata again, and that's good play again from Morata. He looks lively.
He feels he's got a point to prove in his first game in a blue shirt. We can't call it a debut. This is his first unofficial Chelsea game. He's managed to win a free kick here, just inside his own half. He was barged over by Goetze, the recent substitute for Bayern.
Yeah, no intention whatsoever to go for the ball there from Goetze when he knew he'd been beaten.
There's Alonso keeping it in left side. Now here's Kante. Kante stepping away from the challenge of Rodriguez, who's starting to look a little bit tired. Fabregas. Well, great ball into Batshuayi inside the penalty area, laid off for Willian. Not the easiest shot to take first time, as Willian's just pointing out to Michy Batshuayi. And the shot was scooped over the bar.
Yeah, I think Willian's saying you just stopped the ball, you played it into me. It's a good play, brilliant pass from yeah, it's a brilliant pass from Fabregas, and Batshuayi's control is good. And instead of leaving it for him, he's played it into his path and made it really tough. Anyway, Chelsea on the attack again.
Willian edge of the box, right side, looking to play it into Batshuayi. Breaks for David Luiz. He's going to go for goal here. Shot took a couple of deflections and then came back off the post. Keeper was scrambling. He had no idea where it was going. It was almost 3-2. Instead, it's a corner, but that's got the smiles on the faces of the Chelsea fans here.
Yeah.
Textbook David Luiz.
One thing that David Luiz has given us since he has come on, he's on the front foot and he's looking to get balls in front. And Christensen was more or less waiting for things, but ball comes across and the referee's seen an infringement there. But he's on that front foot, David Luiz, and sometimes when he does that, he can go in front of the ball and he can miss out and play can go in behind him. But I think when you're losing 3-1, maybe there is a bit more urgency required. Gets his shot away, and as you said, took a wicked deflection, bounces off the foot of the post. Took two deflections, you're right.
Keeper got a little bit lucky because he was completely stranded. 73 minutes gone, still just 2 Chelsea substitutions. I wonder if that might be different had the likes of Rudiger and Hazard and Bakayoko and Pedro been available. Remember, the next game is against Inter on Saturday at this stadium again. There's Goetze clearing from right back up toward Kingsley Coman. Good turn from him, just had his shirt tugged by Alonso. Free kick on halfway for Bayern.
Well, the substitutions have added a little bit of a spring in Chelsea's step.
There has been an improvement in the performance from first half to second, as we're going to take another break for refreshment here. Chelsea might not have been able to get back into the game. Certainly they've looked a bit tighter in defence than in the first half when Bayern were just sort of wandering through at will.
There have been 1 or 2 times that it's been a bit nerve-wracking at the back in the second half, but generally it's been a better performance. Currently on a water break right now. As you mentioned, the temperatures and the humidity are extreme.
It's all part of pre-season these days, though, isn't it? It used to be friendly against Kingstonian or whoever, but now it's an important part of super clubs like Chelsea and Bayern Munich summers to come and do these tours and carry on making friends and allow people who support the club to get the chance to see them in action.
Yes, indeed. There's thousands of Chelsea fans here.
Just getting the opportunity while this water break's going on to see some of the highlights of the second half. It's not as if either goalkeeper has been peppered with shots since the restart. As you would expect, the tempo has dropped pretty significantly. So it's been a pretty stable selection so far from Antonio Conte. 2 changes for today's match. I guess you'd expect a pretty similar lineup to start against Inter on Saturday.
Yes, wouldn't surprise me if Morata gets the nod up top.
And maybe somebody like a Lewis Baker getting a start in the way we've seen Boga and Christensen get one today. Maybe just try and blood 1 or 2 youngsters.
Yes, again, that's something that the manager will be only too aware of.
Just going to make a change here just before play starts again. And it's going to be Eduardo on for Thibaut Courtois. And Fikayo Tomori also coming on in place of Marcus Alonso. Eduardo, who's yet to make his official Chelsea debut, hasn't actually played a game since he played for Portugal against Albania a while back. Here's Batshuayi looking to make it 3-2, bent out just the wrong side of the goalkeeper's post. I think the keeper will tell you he would have had that covered.
He was some way out, Batshuayi, but he pulled the trigger. 2 goals against Arsenal. You have Morata in support, Willian also, but opened up for him a little bit. Goalkeeper, I think you're right. I think the goalkeeper would have said that had that been on target, he would have covered that.
So opportunity for Fikayo Tomori to impress against top quality opposition in these closing few stages. He's already made his full Chelsea debut, Tomori. Here come Bayern though with Kingsley Coman. Options left and right. He went left to Ribery just inside the penalty area. Tomori there trying to hold him up. It's come back to Rodriguez just outside the D. Moves it left side. Coman with Ribery in support. Coman's inside the box here, having a run at Tomori to the dead ball line, then gives it back to Ribery. Now Renato Sanchez, 25 yards out. He's going to go for goal. Took a couple of dips and bumps and deflections on its way through, but Eduardo had his right-hand post covered, and it went wide anyway. Here's Moses. Moses has come left side with Tomori going over to the right, his natural sided position. He's a centre-half by trade, but we've seen him play right side for the various development sides, and indeed he played there in his full Chelsea debut. Tomori. Foul by Goetze on Morata.
Didn't see a lot wrong with that, if I'm honest. He's got a close-up here. Morata's, maybe you could argue, he's come through the back of him.
Here's Moses. Goetze there again, puts his foot in, knocks it out for a throw-in. 10 yards up from the corner flag on the near side, the left. 78 minutes gone. Chelsea trailing Bayern Munich by 3-1 in Singapore. Another Chelsea throw from the same position after Goetze took it from Morata. Tossed to Fabregas. Now it's back with the man who took it, Moses. Foot in, stabs it out for yet another Chelsea throw. Goal back in the next couple of minutes and we get a grandstand finish perhaps. There's William controlling on his chest from Moses' throw. Pantovic trying to shepherd him away from goal, and he managed to do that. David Luiz on halfway, switching it to Azpilicueta. Touch for Tomori, played it infield looking for Batshuayi, but only found Renato Sanchez. Got it back second time though for Kaya Tomori. Stamp forward to William. 48,522 inside the stadium to watch. Biggest crowds they've had here this year have been for Coldplay and Justin Bieber. Different kind of stars on display today. Here's Morata, back to goal, trying to make something happen. Managed to work it through to Moses, trying to play it back to Morata, and then he fouled Renato Sanchez, who could feel the contact and saw that William was about to have a strike at goal, so hit the deck and got the free kick.
A little unlucky there, Morata, wasn't he? He's kind of, yeah, but he does well. He just waits for the contact, knows Morata is on his way. There is nothing he can do, he can't stop in time.
Here's Renato Sanchez. Forward from him to Coman, just over halfway. Cahill slid in and didn't win it, but Fabregas did. Now Victor Moses, left side, crossing halfway. Fouled by Thomas Müller. Muller's really drifted out of the game in the second half. He made his impression on it in the first by scoring twice. Couple more substitutions coming up for Bayern now. Nicholas Dorsch and Manuel Winsheimer, two of their academy products coming on, and Ribery, who I think we can safely say has been the man of the match, is one of those departing. Müller too. Yeah,
Ribery's looked, as you said earlier, Matt, rolling back the years. 1 or 2 injuries from memory over the last couple of seasons, and hasn't quite had the opportunity, but he looked sharp today. Still got a lovely turn of pace. Technically, we know how good he is. I think he'll be happy with his 80 minutes work.
So 2 teenagers on for 2 of the superstars for Bayern. 6 substitutions Carlo Ancelotti's made now.
Great first touch from Morata. Ball was drilled in by David Luiz.
Luiz wins it back on halfway from Rodriguez. Now it's right side with Kaya Tomori. Did his season as part of the Brighton side who won promotion to the Premier League. Here's Moses, nice control on his chest, up against Goetze. Trying to find room for a cross. Ball sticking on the rugged and ragged turf. Now Cahill, back to Moses once more, level with the edge of the penalty area, crossing from the left with his right boot. Good ball in as well, and a powerful header from Tomori, but it was a fair way wide of Fruchtel's post.
Not the worst ball in the world at all. Hung it up towards that far post, he's on his own. Moses has picked him out.
He's got key goals in a Chelsea shirt already in his career. Fikayo Tomori scored in the Under-19 Champions League final and the Youth Cup final. Player of real potential. Be interesting to see where he ends up next season. One would assume it will be another loan for him. A pretty sticky start to his time at Brighton, but they quickly saw why he's so highly rated at Stamford Bridge. Moses with another throw, this one from just inside his own half, finding David Luiz. Rolled across from him to Azpilicueta. 8 minutes plus add-ons to go. Bayern leading by 3-1. Here's N'Golo Kante. That right side for Tomori, certainly seen plenty of the ball since his introduction. Here's Batshuayi. Wasn't able to find Morata after doing well to win the ball back initially. Coman on it now on halfway for Bayern. Back with Goetze. Goetze being closed down by Morata. Here's Coman.
Brilliant change of pace, isn't that, Kingsley Coman?
He's a real high quality player. Strange that it didn't work out for him at Juventus, but there's been a bit of trading between those two teams in recent years, and indeed this summer Mehdi Benatia has turned a loan from Bayern to Juve into a permanent deal, and Douglas Costa, the Brazilian, gone from Bayern to Juve on loan. Just seeing out the final few minutes here now with Hummels, who brings the ball up to halfway, plays it straight against Kante, might spin out of play. Indeed it did, for a throw in to Bayern, which will be taken by James Rodriguez. He decided to give it up instead right at the last minute. Hearing that Lewis Baker's arrival will be imminent in the closing stages of this game. Pasalic will also get a couple of minutes before the match ends. So it looks like Chelsea are going to make 6 changes just like Bayern. Antonio Rudiger, by the way, flew out to Singapore last night, so we might get a glimpse of him on Saturday. He did take part in the Confederations Cup, which is why he's a bit behind his teammates in terms of preparation, as Bayern look to seal the game once and for all, but a shot drilled in low from Winsheimer, who's just come off the bench. He's easily gobbled up by Eduardo.
Yeah, straight at him. Well struck, but you'd expect the keeper to make a save from that distance.
This is Pasalic, and Baker stood hands on hips, desperate for the ball to be kicked out of play so they can come on. Fabregas swinging his right boot and pinging a lovely pass out to Moses on the left-hand side. Here's Fabregas again. Now Kante stabbed it over the head of Sanchez into Willian, but he didn't have the best contact on the ball, but somehow found Fabregas. Here's Moses now, played into the channel for Morata, trying to cross from the dead ball line, blocked from Martinez behind for a Blues corner.
Yeah, well worked on the left-hand side. Morata is offering that support. Manages to get to the byline, but defended well by Bayern. These are the sort of opportunities that Morata will be looking to get ahead on.
Fabregas corner into the near post and then swept into the net by Michy Batshuayi. 4-3-2. Is there time for Chelsea to find an equalising goal? They've got 5 minutes plus stoppages to do so another pre-season goal for Batshuayi. 3-2 now.
About to say, not the best ball in the box, and everyone misses it. And Batshuayi is there, right place, right time, left-footed. Mats Hummels is complaining. I don't quite know how this hasn't been cleared. Well, it's Morata actually that does enough. Doesn't win it, but does enough to put them off. Gary Cahill's presence as well was in towards that near post. It's not defended well enough. Batshuayi, right place, right time, left-footed again. 3 goals with his left foot, and he now makes way for Lewis Baker.
It's his last touch of the ball, but he's in good nick in pre-season. Michy Batshuayi, another goal for him. And Lewis Baker, who had a very good season last season, he scored 15 times as he helped Vitesse win their first ever trophy.
Well, now Morata has gone down that central position, and Lewis Baker is now on the left. Willian operating where he has done for the whole of this game. Formation the same. It's a 3-4-3 formation. This will be interesting if there can be another opportunity. Chelsea have been the better side in the last 5 or so minutes, and there's a tackle that's come in, and Willian is not too happy, the referee. I think he's officiated this game really well, actually, the ref.
He seems to have the respect of the players. He's shown one yellow card to Moses. Pasalic, by the way, on in place of Cesc Fabregas, Croatian who spent last season on loan at Milan. 5 goals in Serie A too. 3.5 minutes to go. Here's Moses for Chelsea, trailing by 3 goals to 2. And I've got to say, when it was 3-0 on 27 minutes, we were fearing that it could be a very bad day at the office.
Yes, there were reasons for concern. Brilliant ball from David Luiz out to Victor Moses, and Mario Götze gets in the way, and referee, I've just given you a big pat on the back. Not sure you got that one right.
Gave the free kick against Moses for the challenge on Götze. Just tried to lift it over the head of Götze.
I don't know how he's given that to Götze. Moses has only one thing on his mind. He's knocked it over his head, wants to get on the end of it, and bizarrely the referee's decided this is a free kick the other way.
Taken by Fruchtel, the goalkeeper, up and over halfway, but onto the head of Pasalic. Baker couldn't win the second ball. Played forward into James Rodriguez. Rodriguez loses out, but Götze quickly gets it back. Here's Rodriguez once more. Koeman then with a decent ball forward. Dorsch trying to work his way past Cahill. He was fouled. Free kick to Bayern, almost level with the edge of the penalty area on the near side towards the right, just in from the touchline.
But tasty tackles coming in now.
Cahill just coming through Dorsch there.
Does win the ball, but it's some of the man as well.
Rodriguez finding Koeman. Koeman up against Moses, trying to get his way round him. Tried to trick, Moses wasn't buying it. Poor clearance though, gives Bayern possession back. And a stumble. You see the ball go out of play for a Chelsea throw. Baker wants to get on with it quickly. Chelsea knowing that an equaliser would force a penalty shootout here, remember. A reminder that you can see this match in full from midnight on Chelsea TV. Here's N'Golo Kante, just inside his own half. Less than 90 seconds of the 90 minutes left now. Moses, lovely touch to get it away from Koeman. Koeman does well to win it back though. Here he is again, Koeman, on halfway. He's got 3 options to try and pick out. He came right side to Rodriguez, 2 in the middle waiting for a cross here from James Rodriguez, who might decide to just hang on to it and help his team get over the line here. Indeed, they do go all the way back into their own half, and Javi Martinez. You would expect Bayern to be there or thereabouts in the latter stages of the Champions League again this season?
Yes. Yes, I mean, there are familiar faces, aren't they, in the latter stages of the Champions League. They have a manager that knows how to win it.
Trying to do what Pep Guardiola couldn't. It's almost a given that you win the Bundesliga if you're the Bayern manager. It's what you do in Europe which really shapes your reputation at the club. And with the ball inside Chelsea's half at the moment, Blues need to get hold of it and get it forward quickly if they're going to pinch a late equaliser here. Eduardo has it in his possession. Pass from him out to Kante, and David Luiz shows a good touch under pressure. And Eduardo eventually clears it, but only to Koeman. Couldn't control though. It's going to break maybe for Morata as we go into 4 minutes of stoppage time. Still time for Chelsea to find an equaliser. Koeman doing his best to try and cause a problem, but Kante and Moses between them got it.
N'Golo Kante would not let go. It was like a dog with a bone there, literally. I mean, we know how good he is once he homes in on that ball, but he was second favourite for most of that exchange, but won the ball.
Koeman, Ribéry, Conte. We've seen some quality French players in this game. Of course, it's a World Cup season. And David Luiz, we hope to be there for Brazil. Played in their summer matches. Here's Kante. On halfway, left side. Driving away from James Rodriguez, who hasn't got the legs to keep up with him at this stage of the game. Played in field to Lewis Baker. 20 yards from goal here, Baker. Well capable of shooting from that position. Wasn't afforded the space to do so. Did find Willian though. And now a chance for a shot from range driven in by Pasalic. Broken out for Azpilicueta. He's looking for Moses inside the penalty area, near the dead ball line. Closed down by Goetze. And Goetze does well to take it off him. And again, he won a pretty soft free kick. He's looked decent since his introduction, young Felix Goetze.
Looked very sharp, looked very capable. Good defending there. As Moses does just drag his shirt back there. Referee got that decision right. I think Moses has actually done very well on this left-hand side. Plenty of possession. Maybe could have got one or two more balls in. Not naturally, of course, left-footed, and it makes it that much harder when you play so wide and so high. Become perhaps a little predictable if you're going to only cross with your right.
It's become a tradition that he's been the star of pre-season over the last few years, but he's coming at it from a position of confidence this season, Victor Moses, because he knows that he is a Chelsea player in the truest sense of the word these days.
He was a champion of England. You know, what a difference 12 months has made for him. And you're right, I've seen him have a number of really good pre-seasons.
Was that a foul on Morata? Referee says no. He was about 25 yards out, but he was trying to spin away from Hummels. Bit of contact between the two forced the Spaniard to hit the floor. But the referee saw nothing untoward about the challenge. He got the chance to have another look at it and see if he was right. I think he probably got that right.
Yes, he probably did. But Mats Hummels there has got sucked into making a tackle in front.
Just little glimpses of what we can expect from Morata, haven't there been?
Yeah, the number of times the ball's gone in. I think what's going to be crucial is his first touch with back to goal. I've seen a number of times, so only in the short space of time he's been on the pitch, but he looks to have an excellent first touch.
Ancelotti contentedly chewing on the touchline. I feel this team have gone some way to exercising the demons of Saturday's hammering by Milan if they go on to win this game, albeit not by as comfortable a margin as it looked as though they would with a third of the match gone. Cahill playing it forward to Moses on halfway. There's going to be an equaliser. It'll have to come now. 30 seconds of the game left. There's Pasalic. Up to Baker. Inside left position just over halfway. Forward to Willian. Turn round the corner for Moses. Moses can have a run here. Almost got round Goetze that time. He's managed to keep possession somehow, but then a good challenge to win it back. And it's cleared away down the line, and that will probably be that, although it's out for a Chelsea throw. Have to be taken quickly. It is to Willian. Closed down by Coman. The ball's just about stayed in place somehow.
Don't know how.
Coman still has it, and as he runs toward halfway, the referee blows for full time. Chelsea's second pre-season game ends in defeat. Bayern Munich, the winners here in Singapore, by 3-2. But Jason, after a ragged first half, it must be said, real signs of improvement in the second from the champions.
Yeah, 2-0 down at 12, 3-0 down after about 28. And then after that, yes, we got back into the game, the intensity. Listen, Bayern couldn't keep going that. They did look fitter, they did look stronger. They are further in to their pre-season than we are. All round a good exercise. We managed to get ourselves back into it. We feared the worst at 3-0, let's be honest, after 28 minutes. But that goal before half-time